Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Ross Vinograd, and over the past year, the company where I work, Travelport, has been partnering with some big names, BCD, Hyatt, Wyndham, and a few other heavy hitters which I can't name. And we've been reimagining an industry, because oftentimes, as we know, we're stuck in the muck with the legacy tools in which we operate on a day-to-day basis. And not only have we been reimagining our industry, but we've been building it with a partnership and support of IBM. And what I want you to consider this pitch is not for a product or an app or that you're going to Google on later on to see if it was successful. This is a pitch for your collaboration. Consider this a HEDNA working group with $1 million budget, a big roster of names, and an invitation to you all in the audience saying, join us, collaborate. But wait, you say, I have no idea what you're talking about yet. I got 7 minutes left. Let's get into it. It all starts with the life cycle of a booking, you see. You know, when you order something on Amazon, you know when the package is being put together, you know whether it's DHL, FedEx, UPS, or the government, you kind of know when it's going along its journey. Rain, snow, sleet, shine, you basically know when it's going to arrive at your doorstep down to the minute. But when millions and millions of travel agencies put bookings across channels, whether it be the GDS or the OTA or the consolidator, and they send a traveler to a property, they're blind as to what happens next. So the 3-night stay and the $100 commission expectation that we all run by turns into a 2-night stay because the guy had to head home early. We're business travelers, we understand that. And it's just not the guy had to head home early. It's the modifications and the no-shows and the spilled glass of wine that ended up in a comped room night. What was $100 of expected commission became $66 in commission. Agency doesn't know that. They're going to invoice for 100. What they expected was 100, and what actualized on property was 66. And here, you better bet for 40 bucks, somebody's going to pick up the phone. Somebody's going to send an Excel spreadsheet. And it's not just going to go to one property, it's going to go to the chain too. And this is where the complexity begins. It's the crossover between what expectation versus actualization. They don't meet in the middle, at least they don't today, until 30, 60, 90 days out. And so when we ask our agents on our platform, and again, it's not just the Travelport platform here, this is an industry issue. When you ask our agents, what's the single most important reason that deters you from putting volume on our channel? There seems to be global consensus. 34% of them say commission collection. And I know this is a problem that most of us really don't deal with on a day-to-day basis, but it is rumbling beneath our industry, and it is a $1 million catalyst to effectively start a new paradigm for collaboration. I know, thinking big, we're starting small here and very practically as well. And it's not just about cross-border payments and transfers and fees and so on. It's about the duty of care. When the guy extends his stay in China, the duty of care is fractured. The agency's blind to that. You can't run a business if you can't forecast revenue and all of the modifications are happening on property they're blind to. That's no way to run a business. And the commercial flexibility of our system is basically 0, 10, or bust. Try running a 15% promotion and get your 10% back, and yeah, you're going to pick up the phone too. And the clarity and consensus in our industry is not there when agencies honestly get paid for things they didn't think they transacted and underpaid for things that they did. An agency will say if the average commission's 10%, they're losing 2.5 points in the wash. My own booking tool at Travelport says it costs them $15 just to collect 100. So the agency side is definitely more burdened with this. I will recognize that the hotels will say, look, this is 95% automated, but that 5% is costing you. It's costing you in noise, it's costing you in channel decisions. And you might say you prefer the OTA model because it's really easy to pay just one, and have them pay downstream. Except we don't like disintermediated channels. You don't like unknown customers. So there is a place for fixing the agency model. And of course, hotels do have double invoicing because that property does get called upon individually, and while they shouldn't pay, they do. And there's paper checks floating around the ether, just like there's still fax machines. There's a lot more paper checks. And those don't get cashed, and collecting that money back in, that's expensive. And so is expensive, too, to limit your distribution to only those that sign up for an association that has air in its name. Not very hospitality forward. This is the legacy muck. And so we have a vision. We want to create that visualization, just like when you log into Amazon and you know that package and when it's going to arrive. We want a shared view of the status of the bookings and our commissions. We want a shared view of the expected versus the actualized. And how do we get that? Well, it's quite simple. You take a data feed, effectively an echo, of everything that's happening on the Travelport channel, or any channel for that matter. This goes well beyond just at my GDS where I work or our GDS. And I invite the others to jump aboard as well. You take an echo feed of the transaction platform, and you take an echo feed of what's happening after checkout, and you tie it all together in a distributed ledger. It's quite simple, and in doing so, you create a common platform, not one that is relying on Excel spreadsheets ping-ponging between other people's inboxes and all the analysts running VLOOKUPs. Hey, you get to relax on that. You get to create a shared perspective of the data, and ultimately, you get to create a shared truth with an immutable audit trail, something that blockchain as a technology, as a tool, simply offers innately. And when we think about data privacy and GDPR, this solution steps us forward because I submit that the way we're currently operating, with last names and first names floating all about the industry, is not necessarily GDPR friendly. And our goal is to drive out the noise, to run a better business for us all, for our industry, to advance the checkout revenue forecasting from 60 days to 7 or less, to reduce the reconciliation time from months to days, to transform the volume of agency inquiries. Where's my payment? Oh, you comped in the room night? Oh, it switched from a bar to a group rate or back again? What happened? Transform those inquiries and transform that noise into self-serve queries. Eliminate the disputes. Solve for the breakage. As we bring our commission payment services and partners on board, you will see the plethora of payments that are floating about there that have gone uncashed. And ultimately, it's to drive out the noise because we honestly think we can do better by putting the life cycle of the booking on blockchain. This is an ecosystem play. It's anchored by hotels and agencies, and it's to start a new paradigm of collaboration. It starts with the catalyst where the money is, yes, commission settlement, but it can go much further afield than that, about embracing fintech, maybe solving the universal indicator for properties. I mean, there's all sorts of applications here, but it starts with an invitation to yourselves in the industry to push the envelope forward and to take your feet out of the collective legacy muck where we often find ourselves. And with that, I ask you to log into the future of travel. It's your ecosystem. Collaborate. Thank you.